Are we live? We are live. Hello, and happy Thursday. Happy Truth Thursday. Hope the week is going great for you. It's been a busy one. We've been in the depths of our 3-day Legendary Leader Summit. It's been fabulous. So today I want to dive into why lasting change may not be happening for you, and just a quick tip and assessment on what's really going on so that you can take this and put it into action. So whenever we are experiencing a reoccurring situation, whether it's something that we are struggling to overcome, whether it is something that we are, just struggling with and can't really put our finger on, how do we overcome this? You can be sure that on some level, you're not addressing the thing at the root. And I want to talk to you a little bit about what I mean when I say addressing something at the root, because it's something that has brought up a lot of questions with a post that I did last week. And it's fantastic because what that tells me is that I am triggering a deeper thought for all of you, which is my goal. That's what the Truth Teachers is here for, is to really shine a light on the truth so that true freedom can be experienced. So when I talk about going to the root of something, you can think of the root cause, right? Because so much of our experience, how we're conditioned, and the world we live in is all about dealing with symptoms, right? It's a quick fix for this, a quick fix for that. And when we can go to the root cause of something and actually see the truth about the situation, what that allows us to do is pull the weed at the root and stop experiencing the pain, the trigger, or the stress, whatever the case may be. And so I want to give you an analogy today to help you think about this a little bit differently. So when I talk about going to the root cause, what I'm really talking about is your inner state. And all of us have this amazing ability to channel and use our inner state, but we aren't educated. It's not talked a lot about how to do that. And the way to really harness this is to think of it as a garden. Think of your inner state as this amazing garden. And with that garden, there are weeds, just like in the garden, right? When you start to plant a garden. And what we want to look at in ourselves is the weeds represent triggers, past trauma, limiting beliefs, anything that's no longer serving you. And so your inner state is this beautiful garden. And for your garden to thrive, you need to have proper soil, not rocky, not sandy, right? And you need to address the weeds at the root and not just cut the weeds off at what you can see above the soil. Because when you do that, they spread or take up room in your garden, right? And so this idea is the weeds in your garden are your limitations, those beliefs that no longer serve you, your way of being that may be expired. And so when I say going to the root on something, what I'm saying is seeing the truth of the limitation, seeing the truth of the limiting belief, and looking at it for what it is at the root so that you can pull it out of your garden for good and replace that weed, that space in your garden, with the flowers, with the veggies, with the nutrients of empowering beliefs, of empowering stories, and focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. And so if you are experiencing something in your life where you're not moving forward, or you're not experiencing like lasting change that you want, you can be sure that it's because you have not seen the truth at the root. You have not gone into your garden, into your soil, and pulled that weed at the root. And so that's what's really going on, is you've just looked at the symptom. You've just looked at the aftermath. You haven't actually gotten to the bottom of it. And so, how do you know when you get to the bottom of something? Well, number one, there is a feeling associated with it. When you see the truth about something, even if it's painful, even if it's stressful, even if you don't like what you're seeing, when you see it at the root, because it's the truth, there is a freedom and a spaciousness that goes along with it. There's a reason why they say the truth will set you free. You can't argue with the truth. You can't reason with the truth because there's nothing beyond truth. And so if you can know that if there's something you're experiencing, there's a recurring pattern, you have not seen the truth, ask yourself, what is the truth that's up for me to see? What is it that I haven't seen yet? Because when you see that truth, you will feel a sense of spaciousness. And in that spaciousness is how you can create your next step, deploy an empowering belief, and actually start to move forward. And so, if there is an area of your life where you're not experiencing that change, or there are patterns that keep happening, know that it is because you haven't seen the root. When you're willing to see that, there is a spaciousness that happens. And when you see the truth, you will be able to know because there's a feeling associated with that. So look at the areas of your life. Look at those things that maybe you haven't been able to move forward and reflect. What is the truth that I haven't been willing to see? What is the truth that I haven't seen yet? And see what comes up for you. As always, share with me direct message. Let me know what comes up because it can be really interesting when you dive into this simple fact that if there is a recurring pattern in your life, if you haven't yet been able to get over the hump on something, it's because you haven't seen the root. So check into this. And as always, have a sense of childlike joy. Have a sense of compassion and patience with yourself as you look into these things because it can be uncomfortable. But the more that you have that observant type approach with yourself, the more that you have that patience with yourself, the easier it is to actually see the root because you're not going into the topic coming from an aggressive place or I have to figure this out, I have to get to the bottom of it. Just take on that childlike curiosity. And I am confident that you will be able to see the truth, get to the root so that you can be free for good. I'll see you same time next week for our next Truth Thursday.